So creative freedom has exploded, but so has your responsibility as a director, as a producer, as the executive producer. You're everything at the beginning of a project that's made up of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence generated actors, location, wardrobe, everything that you need, you do have the ability to generate it. Now, again, you've watched some of my videos. You know that I go back and forth. I like artificial intelligence. I like the way it generates video. I like the possibility of it. And I've been using it a lot. So I'm all in. But again, right at the top, I want to say that it's not completely ready to do professional work like I normally used to doing with actors. When we talk about the creative freedom, now I can cast any actor I want. I can go through, find any age range, any type. I can create the type that fits my script exactly. And I can change it if I want on a whim. So that gives you the freedom to use any actor you want, any actress you want. But there are still those limitations, those built-in limitations from artificial intelligence that you can't get past. But that puts all the pieces in your playground as a director slash writer slash producer slash executive producer. You're everything. You can be everything. Location scout, wardrobe designer, set designer. You can take on all those responsibilities with artificial intelligence. So that's why a lot of people are jumping into it. People who have always wanted to direct a film, people who've always wanted to make a film, they're jumping into it. But one thing I want to say too, as I start this video, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as directing a real film, a short film. I'm even talking about micro budget, low budget, no budget films. Artificial intelligence is there's a wide berth between working with real actors, real locations, real sets, real crew, collaborating with actors. Artificial intelligence doesn't give you that. So again, we're at the beginning of this. I like it. I use it. And I've taken a break from it for a while. I'm kind of waiting until it gets a little bit more advanced. Right now, the frustration level is really high. It's really high. I'm going to talk about that coming up right now. The frustration level is really high because there's so many things I want to do. There's so many things that I see it can do. And there's a lot of downside. So I'm going to move on into that. And we're going to continue this discussion about the freedom of creating short films, maybe one day feature films with artificial intelligence. So with artificial intelligence, let me see, how can I say this? Directing a film becomes more of a design, word processing, maybe more akin to a screenwriter. Because when you work with real actors and you work with a real crew and you work with a full cast, and you have assistant director, maybe you have a sound person, maybe you have a lighting person, that's human collaboration. That is what gives films life. I'm an actor myself. So actors bring to the role part of themselves. You don't get that with artificial intelligence. There's nothing there except for what you give it. You have to understand that. I ran into that wall on the last artificial intelligence project that I still have not completed. I haven't released it to you guys yet. It's actually done, but there's a lot of elements in it that feel hollow, that feel empty, that feel it's missing something. And what it's missing life that real actors and actresses give me, and that I can collaborate with them, that I can ask them to pull things out of themselves. They can offer things out of themselves. I can give them things from me to represent in the character that I want them to portray. The thing with artificial intelligence, when they are acting, when they are responding somewhat believably, it's still you. It's still me. I prompted it. I wrote the words. I told it how to say the words. You never get that missing element of working with a real creative actor, that collaborative effort that brings films to life, that brings the spark to a character, that makes a character someone wants to look at, someone wants to follow, someone wants to learn more. Either you hate them. Sometimes I find myself watching a television series and the character is getting so much on my nerves that I hate them. I want them out of the picture. But then I stop for a moment as a creator and I realize this is good. The actor is good. The actress is good because they're making me hate them. They're bringing emotion out of me. They're making me invest and believe that they are real. They're three-dimensional. You don't get that with artificial intelligence. You don't get it. Sometimes I've been working with it for like 3 months now. And again, every time I say this, I'm going to say the same thing because some people may not get the video or some people may get a clip of what I'm saying. I enjoy it. I like it. I know it's the beginning. I know it's going somewhere great, possibly. I know it's going to be the future of some independent low-budget films, possibly. But you can't get what you get from a real human being. There's stuff inside us as actors that we bring to the character that artificial intelligence cannot do because they are not real. They may look real. They may speak. They may move. They may mimic what we do as actors and actresses. But there's nothing inside. There's nothing they can draw on. There's nothing they can suggest to you. James, let me try this. Or James, let me do it this way. Or James, I had an idea. Now, who knows? In the future, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, you may get that. The population of viewers, and I'm just talking about the general viewers like you guys behind the camera watching content, you may get to the point where you say, oh yeah, this is good. I like the artificial intelligence created actors. And that's all I want to watch. Or I like this series that's all artificial intelligence actors. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to ever happen. I doubt it. But also I cannot completely say I doubt it because of animation and CG. But behind the animation, behind the CG, there's still most of the time real human voices, real human actors. And the animators use some of what the human actors put into the character. Now, you do have it the other way, and I've done it myself too, where I dub foreign films into English. And so I have to go the reverse. I have to match what the actor did on screen to fit what's already been recorded, what's already there. So that's something different. But I don't know if that day is going to come when directing is not just communication. So we can direct and you get communication from your artificial intelligence actor. I don't know if that day is going to come. Who knows? They talk about AGI, where the artificial intelligence can think and it can make suggestions. If that's the case, if that does happen, then they will be able to, draw from sources they were taught on and maybe respond or maybe even make suggestions on how the characters would react. But it's nowhere near that right now. We're at the beginning. We're at the very beginning. Precision acting versus what I call an AI happy accidents. That's one of the frustrating parts. You're trying to get that artificial intelligence actor to do something. They won't do it. They can't do it. It violates the software's limitation, or it may be offensive to someone. And that's part of it. But then just general things like, pausing, speak. When you get to the door, turn around and say your line. Sometimes it'll go through the door. Sometimes it walks into the door. Sometimes the door opens by itself and it goes outside and it says the line out in the hallway. So sometimes you get a happy accident where it does something that's better than what you had thought of. So that's happened to me a number of times. Like I said, I've created hundreds of hours of artificial intelligence content so far. I've been all in because I wanted to talk to you about it. I want to talk to you with knowledge behind what I'm saying, being a person on the ground in front of the computer, actually using this software and creating content and putting it up there for you to view. Go to my channel. You'll see the content I've created so far. So there is that thing where, like I said, I call it a happy accident, where you get things that were better than what you had planned. Here's an example. Sometimes in a scene, when there's two actors or more, you'll want one actor to say something, next actor to say something, and the third actor. So sometimes you have to rewrite your scene because you cannot get three actors to talk. So you get it into two actors. And then sometimes the actor who's supposed to say the line says one line, says all the lines. So you keep generating, you keep prompting, you keep begging the software to do what you want it to do. So that's the frustration factor, where it's not precise. It doesn't listen, or it can't listen, or it doesn't understand your prompt. So then you rewrite your prompts. And no matter how precise and how detailed you write your prompts, there's still that big margin of error that we as filmmakers working with artificial intelligence have to deal with. So again, I know it's new. Everybody knows it's new. It's beta stuff. We're testing it. We're giving them feedback. What I wish was that some of the companies would take, even if we don't pay them, would take our feedback and examine our flawed generations and learn from that. Look at our prompt and then see what they gave us, and maybe there's some kind of way where they can teach the artificial intelligence, no, that's not what he wanted. He wanted this. That's not what she wanted. She wanted this. So, I mean, that's just something I'm going to throw out there because I'm making this video. But that's the future. That's the future. And we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So you have to realize you have some level of precision where you can maybe get a character to get out of the car and walk into the building. Sometimes that works perfectly. Sometimes they get out of the car and they climb over the hood of the car, or they get out of the car and they walk through the car, or they get out of the car without opening the door, or they get out of the car and the car drives off. So I have a bunch of failed shots that one day soon I'm going to put together and make a nice video for you guys to see, for you people who haven't seen it or who haven't experienced it or who haven't done as much elbow grease digging in there with artificial characters trying to create stories with beginning, middle, and end, as I have. You can see the frustration, and you can see the work behind the prompt. You can see the work behind the prompting. So another thing with artificial intelligence and AI actors, you can do infinite takes. You can do infinite prompts. You can continue to reshoot the scene, and boy, have I done it. Sometimes I've spent hours, 3 or 4 hours, trying to prompt the software to do a simple thing. And then as I get more and more frustrated, I decide to divide that simple thing into simple steps. And sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes you'll want, for instance, here's an example. You'll want 2 characters to walk in front of an elevator, press the button, and then get in the elevator. So that was a big stumbling block I had a couple of months ago. And it never really got exactly right, but I decided to divide it up. So what I did was I created a prompt where the characters walked to the elevator, they exchanged 2 lines, and then I broke that down into a small portion. And then I had an insert of one of the actresses pushing the elevator button. Then I had to create an insert of the elevator door opening. Then I had to create a wide shot of the 2 actresses entering the elevator. So boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, did I have a hard time getting that done. And the reason I had to break it down so much was because so many different things were happening when I tried to get a master shot. It was a real simple shot in an office building lobby, but it just kept doing so many different things. You know, it would change the character, it would change their clothes, it would change their hairstyle. It would get close to what I wanted, but then something weird would happen. 2 arms would come up to press the button instead of 1. So it's just a barrel of frustration sometimes. And again, I work on it and I keep going because I like the concept. The concept is there. And I keep reminding myself that I'm learning this so that I can move along with the progress that the software will ultimately make. Now, there's a lot of different softwares out there, programs where you can do it. And even one, my favorite, Sora 2. But the thing about that is the logo, the burnt-in logo. Now, I joined up for a few months. About a month ago, I joined up and I paid for a few months for the expensive high-tier $200 a month program where supposedly I could get a watermark-free copy. But once I was in there and I started using it, I kept getting the watermark. And then as I dug deeper into ChatGPT, which is the same company, I found out that it can't control, can't control when it puts the watermark on or not. Now, there is that possibility that it says sometimes you may get watermarkless when you download, if you download at the highest level. But I've tried that too. And when you download at the highest level, you're using more credits, you're burning more money. And I would still get the watermark. So again, that's just the infinite number of, within this topic, infinite takes, infinite tastes, infinite possibility for problems. So this is something that really gets to me as an actor. Emotional truth still matters, even if the actor's not real. You need to believe the character. And that's what I get with Sora too. Sometimes I get real emulation of emotion that is believable, but only while they're speaking. Now, the hard part is trying to prompt the character so that the character says what you want her or him to say, but then have some reaction after it. Most of the time, the face goes dead. Most of the time, maybe the eyes blink if you're lucky. But you have to realize, and I have to realize, because sometimes as I'm working on it, as I bring these characters to life, it's that same process. There's a term for it. My daughter's a writer, and there's a term for it that you as a writer, as you create characters and you give those characters life and you give those characters dialogue, you as the writer, creator, you start to understand them. You start to know what they will do, what they will and won't do. And they, to some degree, become alive to you as their creator. The same thing happens with artificial intelligence. I've created 3 different characters who populate my mind now, as if I wrote them, I created them, and I brought them physically to life with artificial intelligence, more than I've ever been able to do on any of the other scripts I've written. Now, I have probably 15 or 20 screenplays that I've written over the years. I've been in this business for 35 years. So I have a number of screenplays that I've never produced. And the excitement to me that I would be able to produce these scripts and make them into the feature films that I had dreamed of when I wrote them, I was able to fund them, because it's very difficult to raise money, as a lot of you out there probably know. It was overwhelming when I first started digging into artificial intelligence. I had the dream, I had the feeling that maybe I could bring these scripts to life, even if it was for just YouTube, even if it was for a series on YouTube. So that dream quickly faded as I realized that I couldn't get the emotional truth in the characters to be consistent. Sometimes I'd get it, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes you'll see the actress or the actor deliver a scene that's just so believable, just from the prompt that I wrote. Or it's even more believable sometimes when the artificial intelligence program takes the words and puts life behind the words for you. And sometimes you have to take what you get. Most of the time, you have to take what you get. So again, emotional truth still matters. It has to be believable. If you don't believe the actor, you lose interest. You lose interest right away, even if the actor's fake. Because sometimes, like I said, CG, animation, movies shot cartoon style. If you can get into it, you start to believe the characters are real. You look past the animation. And that's my hope for artificial intelligence and these characters that we can create now. That at some point, you'll be able to look beyond the fake character that's not real. Now, I know that's a lot of backlash. I have a lot of actor friends who want nothing to do with artificial intelligence. They don't even want to watch the content I create because, they think I'm a traitor because I create content with fake actors, even though I'm a real actor. But I don't think like that. I'm always loving to be on the cutting edge of any type of technology. I want to participate. I want to be there. I want to use it. I want to be part of it. And artificial intelligence is that. It's new technology, and we have to use it. Because if you don't use it, you're going to get left behind. And the final point I want to talk about in this video, I have some other topics I'll cover, but I'll save those for another video. AI actors and the whole AI system of creating these type of shorts or feature films or just a one-off video, they won't replace directors. They're going to expose your ability or lack thereof. So that's another thing I like about it, is that I can get very detailed. I work a lot with pre-visualization programs in my other films that I've done. And I love that because at that stage, I'm sitting in front of the computer and I'm planning out every move, every step, every scene, every look, every cut in, cut away, close up that I would dream of shooting. Ultimately, I don't shoot all that content, but I can pre-visualize it and storyboard it. That's what you can do now with artificial intelligence. So that's a powerful tool that it will be great for. You don't have to worry about character consistency because that's irrelevant. You're just using it to plan. And I always tell people, pre-production is free. If you're doing it yourself, it's just the value of your time. You're going to use time. You're going to take time to do it. But the more you plan, the better your end product will turn out. You're not, as a director, you're not standing on the set. Okay, in this scene, let me see what we want to do. You have it written down. You're going to alter it because no matter how much pre-visualization I've done in the past, I always alter it based on the real world set or the actors or the location or something that was unforeseen. Sometimes things turn out better. Location miracles. I don't know if you heard of that term. Sometimes things turn out better. Sometimes they turn out worse. Sometimes you need to do a big master. Sometimes you need to get in there and do close-ups that you didn't plan to do, and the whole scene has to live that way. But it's better to have your plan than not to have it. And that's where this new artificial intelligence and these actors that we can create and the scenes we can create really help us. So I'm going to end this on a positive note that even though we're still in beta with, sitting down and bypassing the whole process, you could actually sit down and bypass the whole process of writing a script, and you can use the artificial intelligence software to create your script as if you were sitting in front of your computer keyboard writing the script itself. You can create it right there and generate the scene. So that's what I've done that along my journey also with some of the series I created. And please go to my channel, look at some of the series I've created, and check out some of the content. I've got a number of playlists. One of the ones that has the most content is Tammy, the actress and writer. Check out it, see how it's going. I still have that big scene. I had a 15-minute episode. I have a 15-minute episode that I'm still trying to get it into a position where I'm comfortable to show it to you guys. It's been difficult. I've had it for over a month. It's done, but there's so many elements in it where my two main actresses are dead. When they talk, they're alive. They're real. I believe them. I think they're alive. But then when they're not talking, I realize this is artificial and generated. And there's nothing inside them. They're not real. So I'm going to ultimately release it, but I'm going to continue to see how I can polish it. I just had to get away from it for a while and figure out how I'm going to put this together in a way that all the flaws are acceptable to me, because I have to like it first before I can show it to anyone else. So thanks for watching, and join me in the next one.